Welcome back. We're going to be talking about the most important aspect of your resume, and that's under your work experience, related experience. The categories you choose can be work experience, related work experience, volunteer experience. So depending on what kind of job you're applying for and whether you have related work experience or transferable skills will depend on the category you choose. What's the difference between related experience and related work experience? Related experience is you can put down experiences that you weren't paid for, whereas related work experience are related experiences in which you were paid. So be creative in the categories you choose to feature your best skills from your experiences. So let's take a look at, again, the most important aspect of your resume, writing the bulleted statements under your work experience, related experience. Okay, so professional or work experience is the category, or again, other categories. You want transferable skills. So if you're a student, chances are you've worked in a number of different places, but don't relate or possibly doesn't relate to what you're applying for now. Think about transferable skills. And we can talk a little bit about transferable skills in categories such as written and oral communications, maybe your digital technology, definitely your leadership skills and abilities that you've developed through other activities, your teamwork, your collaboration, your problem-solving skills, your professional work ethic. All of these are valuable to put in some of your statements. So transferable skills are really important from work history, internships, community service, those sorts of things. So when you're putting under the category job experience, work experience, related experience, you put the job title, company name, the dates, the city of states, and then we'll talk about our bulleted statements. You do a chronological order, your most recent first, and begin with sentences with action words. And at the end of this session, we'll show you a list of action words. Use present tense for the current employment, past tense for the prior jobs. Try not to use reoccurring statements like responsible for or duties included. Try to be creative and again use action words at the beginning of your statements. Okay. Your job descriptions are important as it relates to skills that you developed. And again, I've talked about some of the skills, and we'll have a slide shortly that's going to talk a little bit about how you organize those skills. Statements of achievements are important, and your contributions. The top thing that employers are looking for are your achievements and your contributions. What did you accomplish on your job? And so you need to think a little bit about how you evaluated what you did, how you succeeded at what you did, and state those. Again, we've talked about transferable skills. These are important. Begin the job description with action words, and we'll have a screen later on, a slide that talks about action words. And this begins with an action word that creates energy, positive sense of your experience. One of the challenges is to keep these statements short. One line is perfect. Sometimes you need to go into 2 lines, that's okay, but try to get them to 1 line. And when you think about it, when you're writing your resume, this is a illustration of your writing skills. So it's not unusual for cover letters and resumes to demonstrate your writing skills and get you the interview. And if you don't do well on your resume or cover letter, and it's not illustrating your writing skills, you won't get an interview for your application. Okay, list most recent job first. Again, state job title, company name, dates and you were employed, and the job description by bullets. One employer, several job titles. That happens quite a bit when you get promoted. So list all the titles, dates with the job description separately, and then list only the last 10 years. This is what it looks like. This is without the bulleted statements. This is essentially how you start your resume, and then we start to work on the bulleted statements under each of your categories. Okay, I want you to take a second here and read these statements and tell me what you think. Led a team of 5 junior accountants, perform accounts receivable, accounts payable functions, manage quarterly government reports, and oversee payroll administration. What do you think of those statements? Are they good? Will they get the interview? Well, we'll take a look. Let's take a look at how you write statements to gain an interview, effective statements. So one of the things you want to do is you want to ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do? How did I do it? And did I do it well? And so this is relating to the skills you developed, how you applied those skills, and were you good at it? Okay, so how did I do? What did I do? How did I do it? And did I do it well? And you want to ask those questions in and around 4 general areas: information, money, people, and things. Now think about this for a second. Almost everything you do evolves around those 4 areas: information, money, people, and things. What did I do as it related to information? What did I do as it related to money? How did I do it? And did I do it well? Okay, so these 4 areas and these 3 questions are all you really need to do to write your statements. Let's take a look. Information: strategic action, application, assessing, reporting, compiling, and data entry. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the skills in each of the areas. With money, counting, accounting, appraised, budgeting, projecting, investing. With people, we're talking about monitoring, listening, teaching, training, mentoring, assessing. And with things, we're talking about moving or monitoring, fixing, manufacturing, testing, and designing. One of the things you'll notice is we're looking at each of these skills from the lowest level to the highest level. So when we look at information, data entry is probably the lowest level skill, and we moved into a higher level skill of strategic action. With money, probably the lowest level skill you'll have with working with money is counting it. The highest level skill will possibly be in investing, investing counselor. With people, probably monitoring is the lowest level skill, and then assessing might be the higher level skill. And working with things, probably moving or monitoring, and then possibly designing would be a higher level skill. So you want to claim the highest level skill in these 4 categories. It's also important to know the scale. And what we talk about is identifying the scale and the arena in which the skill was applied. Let me give you an example with money management. Okay, so you're going for an investment job, investing, and you're competing against somebody that is applying as well. So let's say the HR person sees your resume and another person's resume, and they see 5 years of experience in investing with a 5% return for one applicant and a 10% return on another. The 5% return of 5 years invested $1 billion, managed the investment of $1 billion. And the person at a 10% return managed $1 million. So think about this. There's 2 applicants. The HR person's looking at the applicants. They both have 5 years experience. One has a 5% return on $1 billion, and the other one has a 10% return on $1 million. Which person do you hire? Well, that's what we're talking about, the scale in the arena of the skill. It still is using the investment skill, but one is using the investment skill to manage $1 billion. And even though they had a 5% return, they managed $1 billion. And even though the person with 10% return had a higher return percentage-wise, they were only managing $1 million. Which one would you pick? Well, it depends. If you're looking to hire somebody that's going to manage small portfolios, and all they'll be is $1 million, $2 million, you might want to hire the person that averaged 10% return. But if you're looking to hire somebody that's going to manage a big portfolio, billions of dollars, you might want to hire the person that had the experience, even though it's 5% return, but had the experience of managing $1 billion. So this slide is one of the most important slides to understand in writing your statements. You want to identify the highest level skill in areas of information, money, people, and things. You want to ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do? How did I do it? And did I do it well? And that'll help you write the statements. And remember, the scale in the arena in which the skill was applied. So let's take an example again of people. Our lowest level skill may be monitoring, coaching, directing, facilitating, listening, counseling, collaborating, delegating, inspiring, negotiating, facilitating, sharing, supervising, teaching, training, appointing. All of these are different skills related to working with people. Now, remember I said the scale in the arena. Say you're going for a teaching job, so you have taught people, okay? And you're applying for a job. Well, some people may have teaching experience at a college level, teaching genetics, and another person may have a high school teaching position, teaching chemistry. So they both used the experience and the skill of teaching, but they taught it at different levels. And so when you're applying for a job, you have to meet the requirement, not just the skill. So think of the scale and the arena in which you applied that skill and try to match it to the job that you're applying for. So would the high school chemistry teacher get a job in teaching genetics at a university? Not if they're competing against somebody that's already taught genetics at a university. So keep in mind, claim your highest level skill and make sure you relate to the scale and the arena in which you applied those skills. Okay, let's take a look at our statements again. So we started out with led a team of 5 junior accountants, but then we started to ask ourselves those 3 questions. What did I do? How did I do it? And did I do it well? And I said that we need to think about our accomplishments, what the results were, and how we applied our skills. So we led a team of 5 junior accountants. We focused in on client budget reorganization, and the result was in reporting efficiency. So we showed them what we did, how we did it, and did we do it well. What about perform accounts receivable and payable functions? What did we do? Well, we introduced Quicken. How did we increase accounts receivable, accounts payable? We introduced Quicken software, which streamlined accounts receivable, accounts payable. So there was our result. Managed quarterly government reports. What did that turn into when we asked our questions? We collaborated with government representatives and senior management in preparing quarterly financial reports. Oversee payroll administration. What did we do? We effectively implemented HR 309 system to manage a 20% growth in payroll. So our statements come alive when we ask those 3 questions. What did I do? How did I do it? And did I do it well? So in writing your statements, practice that and see if you can develop your statements. Again, sometimes they can run onto 2 sentences, 2 lines, but you try to, again, show your writing ability by keeping them short and concise. We're talking about action, outcome, and results. So remember the action words, remember the keywords, remember the transferable skills, remember the accomplishments. Remember, what did I do? How did I do it? Did I do it well? And start with action words. Don't forget ONET. In writing your statements, we have a section on ONET on one of our other modules. I think it's module 1 If you look at Module 1 and you look at ONET, it helps you write some of the statements, capturing the skills and the transferable skills that you have from other positions and relate those skills and abilities. This is the action words we talked about, okay? Starting statements with action words: elected, designed, hired, persuaded, pioneered, presided over, processed, produced. These are action words that you can begin statements. Remember, you don't have to use I in anywhere on your resume because we know who you are. You've got the name up top. The subject is already established. Okay, so work on your statements, work on your experience, volunteer experience, related experience categories, and use these concepts, and you'll be able to develop a winning resume that will get you an interview.